So it could be really rough for Symbol to actually get through this. He's going to throw the AWP in. Oh my god! Symbol, what is happening?
And that's one of the exactly, that's one of the smoke that's been used the most, but they've been punished for it this time.
Dust 2 is probably the most well-known video game map in the world. People have spent countless hours on the map since it was first released. However, the origin of Dust 2 is not the work of a seasoned mapmaker, but of a 16-year-old from England. But to tell the story of Dust 2, we first have to tell the story of Dust 1. In the summer of 1999, Dave Johnson was enjoying his school holiday, spending much of his time playing the free Quake mod, Team Fortress. When Valve announced it had hired the mod's creators, Dave was excited. Soon after, Valve revealed some early screenshots of Team Fortress 2, and two images in particular captured his attention. As he later reflected, the seed had been sown. Meanwhile, a new Half-Life mod known as Counter-Strike was gaining popularity. In autumn, its two creators, Min Lee and Jess Cliff, released the second beta along with an urban-themed texture pack. When Dave discovered it, he set out to make a map. The outcome was CS Tire, a hostage rescue map set in a retirement home. It was successful enough to be included in the next beta of Counter-Strike. Jess Cliff decided to contact Dave, asking if he'd be interested in creating another map for the fourth beta of CS. Dave agreed, and this time he was provided with a texture artist to help him make something original. However, it was too late to escape the influence of Team Fortress, so he requested similar textures. He initially felt guilty because he felt like he was stealing from Valve. In the end, though, he decided it wasn't a big deal because only a handful of people would play his map. Dave started working on an area that would later become the CT spawn. As you can see, the TF2 influence is clearly visible, but this provided him with a solid start. As there were no more screenshots to use for inspiration, he now had to rely on his own imagination. He decided to tackle the task like his other maps, one area at a time with little pre-planning. Dave started working on the underpass, which initially led to a vast underground facility. However, he scrapped it as he thought it was too dark and gloomy compared to the previous area. What's more, he thought it lacked any gameplay potential. Ultimately, he decided that Dust would be an outdoor map. Despite the setback, he managed to create the terrorist spawn in just a few hours. At one point, he planned an alleyway from the terrorist side of the underpass that led around to the CT sniper nest, but he removed it because the path was too long, too linear, and simply boring. Instead, he blocked the path with crates, leaving part of the original design still visible. As he worked on the map, he paid little attention to the core gameplay mechanics. Before the fourth beta, there was no defuse mode, just hostage rescue. So, when the map was complete, he had to place spawns and bomb sites on guesswork and logic. He placed bomb site A in the courtyard, as it was the obvious choice. However, he was unsure where to place bomb site B, so he initially put it in the underpass. When he sent it to Jess Cliff for playtesting, he immediately suggested placing the B bomb site in the CT spawn. Dave believes this change was crucial to the map's success. Ironically, Dave didn't get to playtest his own map due to time zone differences. Still, it was good enough to be included in the map rotation for the new version. A few days later, the fourth beta was released. Dave woke up on a Saturday morning, skipped breakfast, and rushed to download the latest version. To his surprise, there were already hundreds of servers with thousands of people playing the map, and he still hadn't had the chance to play it himself. People seemed to love both the map and the new diffuse game mode. Before long, Dust became the most popular FPS map in the world. It was especially popular among new players due to its simple design. It didn't take long for thousands of Dust 24/7 servers to appear. Initially, Dave hadn't even considered making a sequel to Dust. Instead, he created Cobblestone, applying similar design principles. While some saw it as a spiritual successor, it didn't capture the same fan base. Soon, however, demand for a real sequel grew. So, Dave opened his map editor and began working on Dust 2. He felt that creating a sequel to such an iconic map was daunting, so based on the idea that the third movie in a trilogy is usually never as good as the first, he called it Dust 3. First, he identified the key elements that define a Dust map: the arches that separate the gameplay areas, the roads that guide players to the objective, the trim along all the walls and ceilings that adds visual variety, the sun that gives Dust a unique feel compared to other maps, and unique design features like the double doors and crates. Perhaps the most important element was simplicity. Dave had spent a considerable amount of time reflecting on what made Dust special, concluding that simplicity and concise connectivity were key factors. He wanted the map to feel like the original Dust, but different enough to feel fresh. Unusually for him, he began by sketching the map on paper. It took him a couple of days to convert the paper design into a real map. He deviated slightly from the paper design but maintained the overall layout he had planned. Around this time, he asked for feedback and advice from Gearbox's Brian Martell. He suggested adding arrows leading toward bomb locations. This feature not only made the game more accessible for new players, but became so popular that it was later added to the original Dust map and all other official maps. The map was now entering beta. Dave added a hole in the wall from CT mid to B and a staircase in the tunnels. He worried about these design choices since the original Dust lacked such elements. Nevertheless, he proceeded because it felt right. Despite the changes, the map still retained significant influence from the original. Dust 2's terrorist spawn closely resembles CT spawn in Dust, and A site in Dust 2 is similar to Dust's T-side entrance to the underpass. As Dave was finishing the map, he once again received help from Jess Cliff, who suggested different spawn points and bomb site locations. Initially, they were completely different. T-spawn was positioned where A site is now, and CT spawn was near the current T-spawn. A site was originally located in a cavern on the top side of mid. When Dave finished the map, he didn't expect it to be very successful and intentionally kept quiet to avoid raising expectations. He planned to release it on a third-party website, believing it would be seen as a failure compared to the original. However, Jess Cliff insisted it be included in the official Counter-Strike map rotation under the more sensible name Dust 2. When Dust 2 was released, it became an instant success and absurdly popular. Dust 2 24/7 servers appeared everywhere, and this time it was not only popular in public servers, but also in private clan matches. Dave admits he never expected Dust 2 to compete with Dust for more than a few weeks, but it overtook the original and became a legendary map. While Dave was undoubtedly the biggest contributor behind the map's success, he acknowledges that it wouldn't have been possible without the help of others, including Jess Cliff, his texture artist Chris Ashton, Valve for inspiring him with their screenshots, and many others who helped him along the way. This story is based on Dave's personal blog, which I highly recommend reading, as it covers more than I could include here. Thanks for watching.